If I can't have you, no one can. I see you.
Make your heels click, make the runway talk, come on. Pretty ass women taking pictures that never come outside until they look vicious. Damn, what I gotta say to get a piece of that? Damn, what I gotta say to get a piece of that? Damn, what I gotta say to get.
I have two sides.
I wish
I could get a free bag of chips. I really wish I could get a free bag of chips.
Oh yeah, and then I'm gonna have them wait 100 years for each other, just for them to finally find each other and then die in the war. Oh, and then I'm gonna have the love god be so moved by their love that he turns them into statues. She's the one who turns them into statues. Yeah. And then I'm just gonna make this one named after like the fucking periodic table. I don't know, phosphorus or some shit. And then I'm gonna make it when he finally finds his sister. She turns out to be dead, and he's just been hallucinating her this entire time. He's been hallucinating that she's been alive this entire time, but it actually turns out she's dead, and that he's been in a coma, and this whole story is just a dream in his head. Yeah.
Just get rid of him already! Dance, you fuck! Dance for them! Yes! Yes!
One thing about me is I love a good internet art trend. Y'all remember the Sailor Moon challenge? If you did it, that's fine. It was just a bunch of artists recreating this frame from Sailor Moon, like this right here. And it had like hundreds of artists participating. And now there's a new one, and I'm absolutely here for it. Have y'all heard of the Dream Tiger? The Dream Tiger is an idea that this artist right here, Govi9807, thought up. It was something that they saw in their dream and they decided to draw it. To be real, this really looked like something straight out of a Studio Ghibli film. Like if it was a horror movie. But let's go ahead and look at some other illustrations by other artists. Like this one from Topher Stoll, like this, you snapped on this one. This one's basically a play of Calvin and Hobbes. This one looks like it came straight out of that one cartoon that used to come on Nickelodeon, I think. It was a Chinese kid that turned into a dragon. Do y'all remember that cartoon? Anyways, here's another one and they freaking snapped. Like, look at this. This is amazing. I love art trend. It definitely brings a sense of community to artists to be able to take the same subject matter and just have a different play on it with your own style and sensibilities to it. And this one right here is my personal favorite. But what do y'all think about the Dream Tiger trend?
Look, a fairy!
Oh, sorry, dude. I killed that fairy.
If you're an artist posting your work online, trying to get commissions, trying to figure out how to make money from your art, and it feels like you're doing everything right, but nothing's working, I need to tell you something. The problem isn't your art, the problem isn't you, and I'm gonna explain exactly why that is, why the advice you keep hearing doesn't work, and why most artists stay broke even though they're incredibly talented. This is what I figured out after I graduated from college myself with an art degree 2.5 years ago. I was living with my parents and everything seemed very hopeless for me. I didn't see a way forward because I applied to over 500 jobs and I didn't get a single interview. I was like a lot of people. I was severely addicted to video games. I was scrolling TikTok all the time. And I was sitting there thinking, like, what is the point of all of this? Did I waste my time? Did I make the wrong choice? And if that's you, I need you to know that you didn't fail. You're set up on this path that is no longer viable. So here's what happened. Art school taught you technique, color theory, composition, anatomy, how to take critique, how to work in a team, how to build a portfolio. They prepared you to be an employee of a studio or at an agency. But those jobs, they're the ones that are disappearing first. They're the ones that get the 500 applicants. And they're highly competitive, especially the entry-level jobs. So unless you went to a top school, you have internships, connections, then you're competing against hundreds of people for a shrinking number of roles. So you end up doing work that you didn't go to school for, or something completely unrelated just to pay the rent. Because the art path didn't teach you anything about starting your own business. All it did was prepare you to work in a company, and the artists who actually make money are the ones who built their own business. But nobody taught you how to do that because art school doesn't teach business. And here's the part that took me way too long to understand. Art is not a necessity. Nobody needs it to survive. And things that communicate value are much easier to sell. Like medicine sells itself because people need it. Tools sell themselves. Like a vacuum cleaner, it sells itself because the value is obvious. But art, nobody wakes up and think, oh yeah, I need a portrait, which means that the demand doesn't just exist. You have to create that demand. And where most artists get stuck is they think, oh, if I'm good enough, if I keep improving my art skills, then people will buy. But that's not how non-essential products work. People who buy art aren't buying because they need it. They're buying because they want it. They're buying identity, emotion, status, and how it makes them feel. For example, a D&D player commissions a character portrait because they want to see their characters become real. Or a pet owner, they buy a portrait because they want to hold on to the memory of their pet. They're not paying for the drawing, they're paying for the emotion they feel when they own it. And if you don't understand that, you'll keep losing to the artists who do. This ties into the pricing trap and this concept called the red ocean. A lot of artists think this, where they think that if they lower their prices, they'll be more competitive. That doesn't work because when you charge less, you're not creating more demand. You're just signaling that your art isn't worth much, and you attract the worst clients. I'm sure you've experienced this if you take commissions for like $30, $50. A lot of these commissioners who buy from cheap commissions, they're the ones who haggle and they don't respect your time. And you end up fighting in this red ocean of thousands of artists, all fighting for the same tiny pool of buyers. And everyone's posting commissions open, everyone's undercutting each other, and it's a race to the bottom, which is why I think that sometimes the art community is very toxic, even though on the surface level, everyone seems so supportive of each other. And the artists who win in that environment aren't the cheapest ones. It's the ones who understand how to make people feel something, because they're not competing on price. They're competing on desire, identity, and showing someone a vision of what they could have. So that's the game, but most artists don't even know that that exists. And I'm telling you this because I lived it. As I already said, I graduated with an art degree, I applied to so many jobs, and I spent my entire college career addicted to games. So I had nothing. I just had coursework and a capstone project that nobody cared about. And I spent a year and a half living at my parents' house, just applying to jobs, doom scrolling, playing games. So that thing that changed was when I stopped asking who is gonna hire me, because clearly no one was. And I started asking, how do I create my own income? Because I know it's possible. I did this strategy called burn the boats. This is going to make the video very long, but I think it's a necessary point to get across. Basically, a long time ago, the Vikings or something, they would land on the shore, and they would have to conquer whatever the shore they land on in order to get the territory. So what they would do is they would burn the boats behind them, so there is no option for retreat. And all they can do is go forward and win the battle. And when you do that, you basically put your back against the wall and you force yourself to execute on the things that you normally didn't have the motivation to do. When the boats are burned and you have nowhere to turn back, you either die or you keep fighting. So obviously it's not as brutal as the Vikings, but you can treat it that way. I quit video games completely and I started getting into e-commerce, and I figured out what actually triggers people to buy. And it's not the stuff that art school teaches, it's the real stuff like positioning, pricing psychology, creating desire, creating customer avatars, understanding what the buyers actually want. And then 2.5 years later, I was able to build a multiple six-figure art business. And it's not because I'm a better artist. I just learned the business side, and that's what nobody teaches. That's the gap that you're missing. So if you're wondering where you actually should start, here's what I did. Most platforms, they don't teach you anything. Instagram shows your art to other artists. And Twitter is the same thing. It pushes your art to people who are also interested in art. But the people who are interested in art are other artists. They're not buyers. And the one platform that worked for me and what I started on was Etsy. And I know that there's a lot of hesitation and resistance towards Etsy. That's like I've seen this comment time and time again, like Etsy is full of AI art, it's so competitive that you're gonna get buried. And it's true, but the people who get buried are the ones who don't understand this concept. And another thing about Etsy is that there's a huge learning curve and this grind phase where you're constantly iterating and testing different ideas that you have. And a lot of them are not going to work because inherently some artists, your style could match one specific niche better than others. You just want to validate what people actually want and you want to find what works, then you build from there. So if you're an artist feeling stuck, feeling like you're doing everything right and nothing's working, I want you to know that it's not you. You were just never taught the part that actually matters. And that's what I'm here to teach. The business fundamentals that art school left out. The real steps and not generic advice. And I think one of the reasons I was able to have my success is because I didn't view art in the same way that many other artists did. I first learned about e-commerce and then I applied all the e-commerce fundamentals I learned to art. So follow me if you actually want to understand how this works, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.